I think this hot sauce might be illegal. Now, it's not because it's extra spicy. It's normal spicy. It's not going to get you on hot ones. If I gave this to Christopher Paolini, what's this? Sean Adams Evans? Look, maybe I'm just pretending and my feelings are hurt because I know I'm never going to get invited to hot ones. But regardless, that's not the problem here. This hot sauce, I think, is illegal because of what is on this side. And I'm fascinated by it, and I think we can learn a lot about the world by looking at this situation where it says calories 17. I looked at this. I looked at the and I said, calories 17? That seems wrong. But of course, you can have 17 calories. You can consume 17 calories, no problem. But never in my life have I seen calories 17. That is not a number that shows up, and I think I know why. But also, something even weirder about this. Let me read to you after calories 17. Total fat, 0 grams. Cholesterol, 0 milligrams. Sodium, 110 milligrams, but sodium doesn't have calories in it, it's just salt. Total carbohydrates, 0 grams. Total protein, 0 grams. Unless there's a bunch of like ethanol in this, and it could get you drunk, because you can get calories from ethanol and it doesn't show up in nutrition labels. That's all the things that your body might convert into energy. So if there's none of any of those things, how is there 17 calories? I have to look into some regulations and also do some math, and you're gonna come on this journey with me. Why does nothing have 17? Make me feel happy? Oh no, I'm not going to get into that, probably because you're just not curious enough about the caloric content of hot sauce. Have 17 calories. Do inedible objects still contain calories? Look, first we have to talk about what calories are, everyone. Calories are a unit of heat. This is what happens if you were to take this hot sauce, dehydrate it, and burn it. It would create, per serving, which is 5 milliliters in 1 teaspoon, it would create, theoretically, 17 calories of heat. Actually, 17 kilocalories of heat, because calorie is a very small unit of heat. But we just, in America, we call those calories, even though each one of these calories is 1,000 actual calories. Chemists are angry, but no one else cares. In some other countries, you see this listed as kcal, so kilocalories, but we just skipped that. All right, this search yielded nothing. USDA regulations for calorie reporting? Maybe? The FDA does that. Okay. Rounding. Let's get to what I actually want here. All right. Food labeling guide from the FDA. It's a PDF, everybody. But first, this video is brought to you by Rocket Money. And let me tell you, if you think it's worthwhile to get to the bottom of the calorie counts of hot sauce, let me tell you how exciting it's going to be to understand in detail your own finances. We all want things out of life. And I think probably one of the main things that we want is some amount of stability. And that is very difficult to achieve unless you have a good understanding of your financial situation. How do you budget for a life change? How do you budget around a mistake you made? But Rocket Money isn't just about helping you understand your finances, it's also about helping you control them. Once you've connected your bank accounts, it will identify all of your regular subscriptions and it will show them to you and how much they cost you, and they will also help you easily cancel them. To save more and spend less, you can join the over 5 million people currently using Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/HankGreen or click the link in the description to get started for free. And now we continue our detective work. Now, what we have not yet gotten to is why there are 17 calories and why that reads as so bizarre to me. Because of course I've never seen a 7 at the end of a calorie count. It's always either a 5 or a 0. Now, I'm not trying to get this hot sauce company in trouble. What I'm actually interested in is seeing how the FDA figures out how many calories are in something, because there's a bunch of weird things like crumble cookies and pizzas that have more calories if you eat 2 halves than if you eat 1 whole. But we have determined that this definitely either has fewer than 17 calories or more than 1 gram of sugar. What about when it comes to calories total? The word calories appears in this document 69 times. Nice. Okay. When the caloric value of a serving of food is less than 5 calories, can the actual caloric value be declared? The caloric value of a product containing less than 5 calories may be expressed as 0 or to the nearest 5 calorie increment. Foods with less than 5 calories meet the definition of calorie free, and any differences are dietarily insignificant. Oh, and here we go. Should a value of 47 calories be rounded up to 50 calories or rounded down to 45? Calories must be shown as follows. 50 calories or less, round to the nearest 5 calorie increment, so 47 would be 45. Above 50 calories, round to the nearest 10 calorie increment. And it does not say should be shown as follows. It says must be shown as follows. So this is the most bizarre thing to me. I understand why it would be illegal to show me that this thing has 17 calories but 0 grams of sugar, when in fact it has 3 grams of sugar. I don't really understand intuitively. I think I do overall, but intuitively, I don't really understand why 15 would be more accurate than 17. But actually, I think there's a reason. And I think it's kind of a good reason. Before you get worried about Eaton's hot sauce, this hot sauce is from Jamaica, where the rules are different. So if this hot sauce were sold in an American grocery store, it would need a different label. But regardless, this hot sauce, as it is right now, is the Jamaican version of this hot sauce that came from Jamaica. So we do not actually have to worry about Eaton's getting in trouble. We're going to discard that. But now we have uncovered several mysteries. The biggest of which to me is why we're not getting more detail here and why 5 calories is dietarily insignificant. And to talk about this, we have to talk about what's happening when you eat. It's actually, I would say to the FDA, you are wrong that it is dietarily insignificant. What you are right about is that no one, practically, is measuring their food this accurately that they would be able to get to that level of granularity. A calorie is very small, but even a kilocalorie is very small. Our bodies are very energy hungry. They require a lot of food. The like number of calories that we consume in a day and turn into energy is enough to like boil water every day. You could boil a fairly significant amount of water, at least a liter of water, with the calories that we consume in a day. And calories, again, is literally the amount of heat that would be produced if you burned it. They figure out the number of calories in something not by like looking at how a human body reacts to it, but by putting it in a literal device called a bomb calorimeter that burns it and then detects how much the water in that device heats up with a thermometer. I did this in college in a lab. It's pretty cool. And so because we have to eat so much, 2,000 calories in a day, or maybe more than that, maybe less than that. And it is so easy to eat an extra 5 calories or less than 5 calories that it is just seen to be insignificant. Not because those 5 calories don't matter. You consume them. If you do not burn them, they will become extra weight. If you don't consume them, then you would burn some of your like internal energy storage. It does matter. Like if you really measured it over the course of a year, if you had 5 extra calories a day, that would be an amount of weight that you would now have that you didn't have before that would be measurable. The reason it's not significant is because we're multiplying things together here. We're multiplying the amount of food you eat by the number of calories it contains. So the serving by the calories. And you are not eating 1 serving of anything. You're eating like 1.089258 or like 0.892894 servings. Like you're never eating exactly 1 serving. And since we don't have that level of granularity on the amount that we eat, it doesn't matter if we have that level of granularity on the number of calories in the amount that we eat. This is a basic rule of significant figures. So there's basically going to be 1 significant figure in the serving. So it's 5 milliliters. So let's just like look at some food packaging labels really fast here. So this document actually it does serving size information. The word serving appears in this document 315 times. Holy crap. So we're going to go to page 25 and look up serving information. I mean, look at all this. Look at all this stuff. There's like stuff that you have to have. You have to have the name of the food on it. You have to have foreign language labels. There's are foreign language labels permitted? Where should the country of origin be declared? Are there restrictions on label artwork? Do not use artwork that hides or detracts from the prominence and visibility of required label statements or that misrepresents the food. Okay, so like there's rules, man. There's rules, but we're going to go to serving. Serving size. Serving size, or reference amounts customarily consumed, RACs. RACs. They have an acronym for this. I gotta look up RACs now. What's a RAC? FDA. Reference amounts. We got another PDF, everybody. We're going. We're still moving. The purpose of this guidance is to provide examples of products that belong in each of the product categories included in the tables of reference amounts customarily consumed. So how much do you typically eat of a thing? Reference amounts customarily consumed. This is how Crumble Cookies gets you. So here's what happens with Crumble Cookies. They say, here is a cookie, but then they look at the reference amounts customarily consumed for a cookie, I imagine. Here it is. Cookies. So how much do people typically consume of a cookie? 7 grams for infants, 20 grams for young children, 7 grams for all. That can't be right. So this is foods. No, okay. There's separate racks for the kiddos. Okay, now I need real cookies. Hit me with real cookies. Real cookies, 30 grams. 30 grams is the typical amount of cookie people consume. And look at this. Crumble Cookies contains a 30 gram serving size, because that's the amount of cookie people typically consume when they sit down to eat a cookie. However, a crumble cookie is 30 times 5.5, which is 165 grams, which isn't even on this anywhere. It's just that it is 5.5 servings per container. And the container, I want to emphasize here, is a cookie. The shape and size of the container of these 5.5 cookies is a cookie. The cookie is the container that contains 5.5 cookies. And this is how it works, because the FDA has to create these customarily consumed amounts, because otherwise people are going to just pick whatever makes the calories look lowest. But the way that we started all of this is by looking at, okay, what are these racks? We can go through and see. So we've got 35 grams, 0.5 grams, 240 milliliters, 7 grams, 30 grams, 85 grams. What I'm seeing here, 240, 280, is two significant figures. So if you have two significant figures in your amount of it, like the size of a serving, it doesn't do you any good to have more than two significant figures in the number of calories per serving. In fact, that would be somewhat misleading. It would make you think there was a greater amount of precision than there actually is, and it might allow companies to say, oh, well, we've changed the serving size to be so that it's exactly 198 calories instead of 200, and that level of precision isn't actually accurate, but it creates an illusion of it being less than 200 calories. So actually allowing for that extra precision creates a wrong idea in people's heads, which is why it's actually not allowed to create that extra level of precision. Now, is that important ultimately in the health of the nation? I don't think so. I think there's probably more important things to focus on, like how freaking easy it is to eat certain hyper-palatable foods, especially like when you mix burgers and fries and Coke. And there was this thing on Reddit that I saw, pizza. Can anybody tell me why this happens? I have LastPass. Every time I open Reddit, no matter what I do, if I click in the search bar, it autofills with the word math. And I cannot figure out where that is autofilling from. I'm pretty sure that it's somewhere in my LastPass, but it is super annoying. So if anybody could tell me how to find this and get rid of it, that would kick butt. Pizza, half, double calories. I'm hungry. This is making me hungry. Every time. But you also do end up with situations like this, where because of the way that significant figures are, there isn't enough precision. So 70 calories in one slice, but then 150 per serving. So in this situation, there would be something like 73 calories in a slice, but then they're rounding down to 70. But then if you add 73 and 73, you get 146, which rounds up to 150. And this is kind of strange when it comes to like things that are in really discrete quantities, like slices of bread. Because in that situation, you are actually eating that precise amount. But not every slice is going to be exactly 57 grams. Some's going to have that hole in it. Some of it's going to be slightly bigger. The heel is going to be different from a middle slice. And all of that lack of precision means that it's kind of lying mathematically to include precision where it doesn't exist. But then that makes it feel like we're being manipulated by situations like this. And it also makes it entirely possible to be manipulated by situations like crumble cookies, where they're saying there's 5.5 cookies in a cookie. And this is a fairly famous example of this situation, which they don't do this anymore, but this is how crumble cookies used to actually have the board up, and it would say milk chocolate chip cookie, 180 calories. And then in the, like with a little asterisk, and then in the fine print somewhere, which I cannot even read at this resolution, it says somewhere on here that this, like what the actual serving sizes are. Can I show you that? I'm sure that it's down here somewhere, but I can't read this. I mean, frankly, never trust you again after something like that. And I think that this is actually like deep down a thing that makes companies like Crumble and Starbucks really successful, is that they are able to provide a product for you that feels like it's something that isn't that decadent, but actually is. So you don't think you're indulging in the way that you actually are, but you get the reward from the indulgence as if it is a very big indulgence, which it is. In the same way, Starbucks sells a bunch of coffee drinks that are actually milkshakes. And so you feel like you're just getting a coffee, but actually you're consuming, in some cases, more calories than is in a Big Mac with fries. A venti peppermint white chocolate mocha, which I've never had and sounds delicious, is more calories than a Big Mac. Now, I've got some issues with the way things are done, but I don't actually think that they are the issues that most people would have. Most people would be like, no, I want more specificity, but you don't get it, because not every piece of bread is the same size, and not every serving that you eat is the same size, and when you do the slices of your pizza, not every slice of pizza is going to be the same size. So you can't get that level of specificity. But I do think that the amount of time and energy that the FDA has put on making sure that they have racks for everything, it's probably not that much, honestly. It's probably not that much effort. I just think that the bigger problem isn't really how many calories are in a food. What matters more than the number of calories is how easy it is to keep eating. And I'm so hungry and my stomach just grumbled. And there are just some foods, particularly ultra processed foods, potato chips, especially when mixed with sugary drinks, that are just really easy to consume a lot of calories. We can't stop people from being able to sell those products. We cannot stop people from being able to eat them. But it is the thing that makes it hard for our body's natural systems for controlling the number of calories we consume to stay in control of that consumption. And more that seems to be where a lot of this is landing, where a lot of the sort of like scientific understanding of this is landing, and where the discourse is also headed. I think that's the right direction. I think that's going to be like a much bigger part of like our understanding of healthy food in the future, is that it is simply food that isn't as palatable, doesn't feel as good to eat. It doesn't trick our systems as much with all this like fancy food chemistry that a lot of people do, especially if you mix in something that can like break down that grease, whether that is a low calorie or no calorie soda or a calorie dense soda. Both of those things, it seems, can increase the amount of food that we consume because it breaks the satiation a little bit. Anyway, I think that's fascinating, and it all started from a hot sauce bottle where I was like, that seems a little bit wrong. 17, I've never seen that before, and now you know. And we're going to play connections, okay? But first, thank you to Rocket Money for sponsoring this video. If you want to check out what they can do, go to rocketmoney.com/HankGreen, or there's a link in the description. Showboat. That means to like show off, in addition to being a boat. Showboat and grandstand. Posture and swagger? Maybe. I don't know. Showboat, tennis, ID, Idaho, Oklahoma. Nope. That was fun though while it lasted. Witchcraft. Friendship. Self-care. Hunky-dory. Witchcraft. Friendship. Ship. Stand. Craft. Boat and ship, but craft. Oof. Self-care. Hunky-dory. Dory is also a kind of boat, actually. That, I was like, the one from the Finding Nemo, but dory is a boat. So this is definitely it. Showboat, witchcraft, friendship, hunky-dory. No! God! They stuck me! I thought I was, oh man! Not even a missing one! Oh, you did that on purpose. Winaloo did that on purpose to me. Yesterday, there was an easy purple that I got fast, and today they were like, ha ha ha, a dory and a craft and a boat and a ship are all kinds of boats. Look, in my rules, if you get purple first, you still win. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you get nothing first. You get purple first, you still win. Law, fine, charm, swell, medicine. Medicine and witchcraft are like, good medicine, charm, tennis bracelet, ID bracelet, friendship bracelet, self-care bracelet, hunky-dory bracelet, posture bracelet, okay bracelet, law bracelet, fine bracelet, show. Oh my God. Okay. ID bracelet, friendship bracelet, charm bracelet. Is a tennis bracelet a thing? I should have eaten food before I did this. I'm getting confused. I'm mad about showboat and witchcraft and hunky-dory. Tennis bracelet. ID bracelet, charm bracelet. That the purple? Did I still get the purple first? Ah! This is why I should get the categories before I start clicking on submit. Well, I lost everybody, but I'll still do it for y'all. Swell means to like get bigger. It means you're doing well. Your hunky-dory and swell mean the same thing. Fine mean that as well. And okay all mean that. Okay. Well, that was actually... This is fine. I could have done it. If I had just paid attention. And then medicine, witchcraft, self-care. No. Swagger, posture, grandstand, showboat. And then we got medicine, law, witchcraft, and self-care. What is that? Is that the purple? Grandstand, posture, swagger, showboat. I feel like those are all the same thing. So I guess this is the purple, and I don't know what it is. Things you can practice? Okay, yes. I guess. Fine. Okay. Hunky-dory. Swell. All right. Grandstand, posture, swagger, showboat. I think that's this one. Nope. Well, everybody, we didn't do great. But it was a fun video anyway, and we've learned a lot. Wow. That was really very much intended to suck me in as a false purple. Not great. Oops. I did it on Catherine's account. Dang it. Well, what was this? In terms of difficulty, average difficulty, but a lot of people got none. You clever boats. You clever little boats. Showboat, witchcraft, friendship, hunky-dory. Only 4% got that. And the AI didn't even figure out what it meant. Thinks it's quirky expressions. No, it ends in a thing that goes on the water. She was messing with us specifically. I feel like this was a personal attack. All right, we're done. We're done.